There we go. We're live. It's James speaking. It's a Monday evening. I'm going to do a live session today. We're going to we're going to go through creating your own campus in about 24 hours, but I'm going to do it in an hour. And the reason I'm doing this is I've been working with a lot of people who want to build their own education business. They want to, sell courses. They think about doing all of these things about teaching what it is they already know, love, and do. And they're going, how do I earn some money at it? And with all of the changes that I'm seeing personally with the stuff that's actually happening online right now, it's a really interesting time for people who are excited and passionate about something and want to actually turn it into, I don't know if you want to call it a side hustle or a full business, but it's that ability to, connect with people and share what it is that you're doing. So we're going to go through some of the pieces on this, and if you haven't already yet, the Teach Online community at trainingsites.io, you're free to join there. The majority of all of the videos and tutorials I put together, so the mini courses, micro courses, are all there for free. We also have every Wednesday we have a live Q&A, live webcast that you can certainly be a part of and get your questions answered. And that community is my space or my campus where we're building out a spot for people who want to start, build, and grow an education business. Now, it doesn't have to be about business. It can be creating jewelry. It can be about knitting kilts. It can be about woodworking, about playing an instrument, about anything that you want, but it's a promise that you're going to make that if someone joins your campus, your training site, you're promising that they're going to be able to do something and be able to get an outcome that you're promising during that part of building your campus. Now, I want to touch on a couple things just before I get started. And we'll actually do one live here, but when I'm working on all of this stuff, I personally, I don't know if I have trouble, but there's a lot of words that get used interchangeably. You'll hear membership site, community, training site, campus, online courses, cohorts. There's all of these words that are all in and around, teaching something online. And I want to just kind of clarify where my thinking is at on this, because this is important as to how you name your campus or your training site. What's the difference between a member site and a community site and a training site or having a campus where you train people? And I have trouble personally because although my company name is trainingsites.io, the whole way I started this was about 7 years ago. I created a service called Campus WP, which was about building learning campuses for people who were using WordPress. And that's obviously a big part of our business right now, is building out these training campuses for businesses and people like you who are entrepreneurs or people who want to share something. The thing is that it's getting a lot easier to do that in terms of creating your campus. It's getting harder to get your business structure and all of the stuff in and around having an education business that is complemented by your campus or uses your personal campus to do that. And in fact, if you haven't already, you can certainly go to trainingsites.io/map and you can download my campus map, which is the 10 steps that kind of go through this whole part of having an education business. So I just want to kind of put this in perspective on where I think the difference between a member site, a community site, and a training site is, or training or a campus, that kind of thing. So here's where it started off. Like when I first started, a member site was really the ability to have like a paywall or a way that you had to have people register to become a member of a site. So it was just a way that you as the owner protected content in exchange for their email address, login credentials, and or some money. You would give them access to the content that was in your member site. It was a members only site. And a membership site is still something that's really, really valuable. There's lots of people creating them. There's a ton of great benefits that go along with having a member site, and there's a certain type of business model that is in and around a member site. Now, the thing with a member site is that you have content that requires access by becoming a member, but there isn't any necessarily by default, there isn't any structure to that membership site. So it's just content behind a wall. It's like you have access to it or you don't. And by all definitions, that's a member site. And a lot of people will use the word, I have a membership site, and they may have a membership site, but that membership does not guarantee an outcome as to the stuff that's on the paid side or the member side. It's just content. It isn't any kind of process that you're necessarily teaching. There's no accountability that's there. There's just a whole bunch of pieces missing. And what often kind of happens is that when you get started with a membership site is you have a place where people can come and have access to your content. But the next kind of step to this is that a lot of people have questions. And I've covered this in a lot of other videos about this whole notion of, content is technically free right now, in my opinion. Support and personalization around the content is what people are paying for within a member site and or the next one, which I'm going to call a community. And that's that sense of connecting with other people who share a similar passion to discuss and interact with each other, what's working, what's not, what their situation is, what your situation is, comparing situations. It's just a place that you can actually go and interact live with real people. And that's when you hear people talking about a community site. It's a member site, but the focus is not on what's protected by the login, for example, and again, a free membership or paid membership. It's that ability to interact with people and really connect with other users and or members that are sharing a particular passion. And a community site, by all definitions, adds tools to a member site. So if you have a member site, it just means people get access to content. It doesn't mean that there's things like interactive chat or a discussion forum where you can necessarily ask questions. People can add that to a member site and give people the ability who are members to start questioning each other, and that's the start of building out a community. So you got a member site, you get people interacting with each other, and there's a whole bunch of other things around community activities, but it's about connecting with people over and above what the content is that was protected by the membership site. Now, community is a great thing, and right now it's the end of 2024, and things are happening so fast in this space right now that this whole word about community is one that you're going to hear over and over and over again. And I'm going to go over a couple tools a little bit later in this session about where the tools are for each of these ones. But I want to share where I think things are going, especially for people who are trying to have a business, educating online, teaching online, and they really, really, really want to be able to provide an outcome to people with a community as well. And I call it a training site. If you have a training site is more specific around having content that is organized in a way that people can consume. And if they consume it, they will have an outcome at the end of the consumption if and only if they implement what it is that's being taught. Now, there's a big distinction here, right? If you have a membership site or community, there's no thing that says, hey, you have to do this step, or let's do this step together, and I'll do it with you, or the group of us will do it together and come back and talk to each other what worked, what didn't work, smooth out any problems. But it's actually implementing or applying the information that is in the membership site and referencing the community members to actually do it. So a training site is more about getting people to implement the content that they've had and also use the other people that are doing the same thing as a reference point or an accountability mechanism so that you actually have to do the work. So that's a training site. And that distinction gets blurred sometimes, and you have to really decide at the start, like, what is the purpose or the goal of all of this? Do I want to just have a membership site and have content that is available, to people who either register and or want to pay for access to the content? Is that all I want? Or is it something where I'm not necessarily interested in organizing all of the content and maybe selling access to content? I want to sell or have access to the other people who are passionate, who are doing this particular activity or working to learn this particular piece of information at the same time. So is it a community that I want? Or do I want to build out and train people? And understanding what's available and which kind of fits with what it is you're trying to do is really the big start of it. My personal thing is that if you are going to have a training business where you're going to teach online, you have two kind of choices about how you do that, and it's the platform that you have to think about. In my case, I highly recommend, and what I'm going to teach you how to do today is using WordPress, where you are building your own campus. And the campus takes the best of all of those three pieces, and it focuses on using or teaching the particular promise that you've made or the transformation that you've promised, and actually doing it with people. So it's not about just giving the content. It's not about you doing it for them. It's that done with you model. And it's a space where you, as the site owner, the campus owner, can be the one that's guiding them, or you can let the other community members be the ones that help out in that particular aspect, just by getting feedback from other people or working as classmates, for example. And I like the idea of campus because it is a shared space, and a campus has different faculties, right? It's like you have the engineering department, you have the marketing department, you have the sciences part, you have the health sciences. Each has its own little faculty or own little sub-community, but that campus is all of the pieces that are involved in what it is that you're teaching. And we'll go over, I'll actually give you an example of that. If, for example, you say, James, I'm interested in having my own campus. I want to be able to teach something. Or I want to be able to have a business, an education business, where I can help people do this particular thing. And when I look at it and I'm going, okay, that's great, you can build a site, but there's other things to build the site. There's the part where, well, how do I get a business model set up? And there's another part on how do I create courses or content? How do I do engagement with the other members? How do I find new customers? How do I use email? And you think of that as kind of faculties, right? It's like you've got a faculty that's all about the engineering of it. You've got a faculty that's all about the business of it. You have one about the philosophy and the strategy that you're using. These are like faculties in my example on building a campus, a learning campus. So there's different faculties in that campus, and classes and courses or lessons is that all-encompassing piece that really is your own personal platform for teaching online. And that's kind of where I'm focusing on and we're focusing on, and we help people build those, structure them, market them, and we have a do-it-yourself version, we have a done-with-you version, and we have a done-for-you service as well. So I recognize that people might just want to start at a small part, a beginning, get started, but they want to, either they don't have time to do it or they are technically challenged and don't want to have to learn how to do stuff. And then there's people who, maybe it might be a little bit of a smaller business with some staff and some budget. And they go, you know what, I just need it done for me. So all of those pieces are available in our campus, and that is part of a business model that comes with having an education business. So I'm going to open this up here. Hopefully, let me just go. And again, I do these sessions live, so this is completely ad hoc, unscripted. If there are any questions or people are wondering, you're certainly welcome to put them in the chat. And I just have to find it here on my Ecamm software and make sure that I have it in place so that I can actually see it. So just give me a second here, and I'll find out where my window is for the chat. I think I can open it up right here. There we go. I don't think that's the one I wanted, but not sure. Okay, we'll come back to that one. I'll open up another screen and take a look there. So again, let me just open this one up, see if I'm going to open another page here just on another monitor so that they're there. We got a chat. Can't hear you. Volume is too low. Okay, let's see if I can get that working any better. Let me just do that. Still low? Just give me 1 sec. Microphone shouldn't be too low. I'll just move my mic up here. Okay. Let's try this one. My apologies on that. Maybe that should be better for the sound. Okay. Is that better? Let me know if that's better in the chat. I'll do my best to, that should be okay there. Congo Square. Okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to go through again. What I did is I put together some prompts for you, and I'll leave these in below, or I'll leave them on trainingsites.io so you can find them inside with the recording of this, by the way. But I have some prompts that you can kind of use to do the little bit of homework at the start of this. And what I'm talking about with the homework is this is, I'll zoom this up a little bit. This is the map that I was talking about that, let's do fit map. I can fit it in there. That's not the one I want, so we'll try this one. This is, let's do 120. There we go. Okay. So here's kind of the thing here. We've got red, green, and blue. These are kind of the, you know, starting, building, and growing your education business. The first part is, you know, the red part's over here. It's like the ideas, the goals, and the business model. These are the pieces that you have to kind of do your homework beforehand. I put together some prompts that we can go over just so that you can see how these fit in. And again, this in detail is in the training site in our campus. It's actually a free course, explains all of these 10 pieces. But I'm just going to show you this prompts just so you can understand, like, how do I figure out what it is that I want to have for a topic? You know, what should be the goals of my particular training site or my campus? And then what kind of different business model should I use? Or what are some of the things that I should answer? And again, these are just prompts that I did up quickly. They're not perfect prompts by any means. If you are interested in prompting, I do have a course inside that should be up in the next couple days, which are all the different types of prompts as they relate specifically within your campus site. I just did these ones so that you could have an idea of how they actually worked. And if you have any ones for different markets, if you want it to be applied, we can do on that one too. Still too low. Okay, this is kind of odd. I got a long, let me just try this one more time. My apologies. Way up there. Just trying to wireless microphone. Let's try it a little higher. We should be higher there. Hopefully that's better. Let me know if that's better. Okay, so we'll open up the prompts just so that you can see them. We'll play around with them and see what happens. And let me do this first. There we go. So I just created some prompts here just so that you can see them. And this is, again, I'll put these ones in below so that you have them. But one of the things you just want to do is when you're putting these all together is you want to make sure that, this is the one I wanted to show you. So you want to make sure that you understand or have an idea on, good microphone size there. We want to make sure that we understand who it is that we want to have on the campus, or more importantly, would want to be on the campus. So let me know, cutting out from time to time. My apologies, maybe we got a bad connection here today. So I'm building this is the prompt here. I'm building a community for, describe who you think you're going to be teaching. You want to help me create a comprehensive profile of my audience, including their challenges, goals, and what would motivate them to join and engage. Ask me questions to ensure that the profile is detailed and actionable. So this is just an example of one to get you started to try and figure out and say, you know, I'm building a community for teaching people how to play piano. Or I'm building out a community or a training site for someone who's trying to get a new job and needs to create a new resume. So you have to have some kind of idea of who it is that you're kind of targeting first, and be very clear on that. Not only for your business, but yourself personally, because if you don't know who it is you're trying to help, it's very difficult, irrespective of all of the great technology and courses and stuff you have, if they're not actually meeting the requirements of the person that you want. And I think the one thing that comes out of this, and we can actually just put in the chat if you want me to actually go and create one like this. But what happens is you're going to get back and you're going to say, what specific problems are they trying to solve? And you're going to have to be able to answer that. Maybe they find something they're not musically inclined, for example. They don't know how to read scales if you're trying to teach them how to play a guitar. They haven't had any formal training, as an example. So these are things that are challenges or problems that they need some help with. And you want to look, for example, and make sure that you have something that is of value at this particular part. And I'll give you an example of why this is important. I have some clients who are experts in particular niches or areas. And one of the things that happens is if you're, focused on that small area, it's very difficult to build something up that supports a training site. I'll give you an example of one client that is just an example of this one. So let's say, for example, you are an expert in doing resumes and bypassing, or the resumes are for a particular industry. So you only do, or you're very, very good at helping engineers be able to create resumes so that they get jobs in engineering companies. It's very focused and small, right? And if you only look at that particular topic or that particular person to be able to help, I don't know if you can build a training site at that very finite level. You have to look at anyone who's creating a resume, and then break it down into some particular categories. So you have to know what it is that you're trying to help people with. Where does it fit in? How do they fit in? What are the pieces that are important to them? And more importantly, you have an understanding of how you fit into that business and having something that's there. And again, these are ones that are prompts. I'll put them in below. I do have some more detailed ones. The whole idea here is just make sure that you know who it is you're trying to create the site for, any of the challenges that they have, and more importantly, the goals that they would have or the transformations that they're looking for. And again, I have some really specific prompts on this. If you want to, they're in the trainingsites.io campus, and I'll make sure that you get the links to those as well. So that's kind of the first thing you're going to know. That's actually step one on the map. It's like, hey, where are you at? Who are you trying to help? What are their problems? What are the things that they need to know? The second one, quickly, I'll just go over this one as well, is just making sure that you know, and again, this one here, clarifying the purpose, goals, and guidelines for the community. Some of the different people that are building out your training site or your community, whatever you want to call it again, is that, hey, you got to sit there and you're figuring out, what do I want people to experience? What is my purpose, and does it match with what it is that they know? So that when they come to the site, when they come to your training site, they know exactly what it is that you're going to provide for them, what you expect from them, so that there's a good fit and a good match. And what is your particular mission? What is the thing that you are promising? And letting people know that if they follow the steps, if they do the work with you, if they engage in the community, this is what they're going to get. So I highly recommend, and again, this is one that we're more fleshing out internally, is making sure that that is a public piece, that not only do the training site students know, the campus people on campus know, but it's more importantly that it allows you to keep focused on it. And I think one of the big problems that I know that I run into from time to time is when you're working on this kind of stuff, it's like the easy to get lost in the weeds, especially if you've created a lot of courses like I have. It's like, man, I'm jammed into creating my next course. But what's the big purpose goal for the training site and my community? What is it that I'm promising or providing them, and staying kind of focused on that one? So that one's really important. The other one I want to do is just, if I have that kind of guideline, if I've got those pieces put together, the next piece is just like, hey, how am I going to actually earn some money with this? How am I going to build a business with it? And, there's 1,000 different ways to generate income online. You have to kind of decide, or at least focus your energy, if it's going to be a training site, to start off with on, hey, this is the big kind of hub of my business, and that campus is where I'm going to be generating my revenue. How do I need to set that up to support the goals and purpose of the site? If you have goals and a purpose that you understand that you're promising, you have to take a look and say, okay, how much is that promise worth to the people that I'm going to be helping? And again, I have another example here is if someone, I have one customer client who's doing executive resumes. So it's mid-level managers, C-suite, CEOs. If they're anyone who's a senior manager at a company, it's about creating proper resumes for that level of job seeker. Now, if I take a look at a membership that's specific to that group versus someone who just graduated high school or graduated college, and you look at the two different types of value that's being provided with the same idea, resume, people who are at that beginner level, they're going to have a certain expectation and budget on what it is that they need to get what they want, as opposed to a CEO who's got 25 years experience, who has a salary of $250,000 a year, that is responsible for hundreds of people or managing all sorts of people. They have a different expectation, and the two different expectations are the part that you've kind of really got to get your head around as to how do you set up your business model, the pricing and all the pieces to support that. So hopefully that helps there. Again, if there's anything in the chat, let me know. I'm sorry if the sound's a little bit iffy. My apologies for that. I'll keep on turning it up. If it is, let me just turn it up one little bit in case here. I'm not at the yellow, but we'll try at the yellow and see what happens there. Okay, so that stuff, I'm assuming you've done the homework. What are the other pieces here? What else do you need to do? And this is it in a snapshot. And actually, one of the things I did with the prompts here, I'll just show you this one here. It comes up. I just put together a little prompt to give the new community owner a checklist to do it. So again, I'll put this one in below, a link to it. What I will show you is I did put a little bit of a mind map together. And if you've ever watched any of my different sessions, I'm an absolute mind map animal. I love them. That's the way I keep track of everything. And let's just take a look at this one here. We'll make sure I go to that window and move that one over. So let's see where it is. It's going to move the screen over here. That's not the one I want. That's actually one that I did from a health and wellness company, just an example. And my apologies as I find that one here. Where did it go? Let's try one more time. Put that one there so it's hidden. I got two monitors, two different pieces there. There we go. It was over on underneath something. So let me open this up one for you. So here's kind of the gist on the mechanics of creating a campus quickly. And we kind of talked about these things at the start here, right? Which is, do I have an idea put together? Have I got a goals and purpose? A bit of a business model put together. I'm a big fan of doing it with WordPress for a number of reasons. The one that's really excited is this morning. Actually, when I did this morning, it just, Big Mac Success with the health and wellness one be available? Yes, it is. There's actually a course around it that's part of the course. So you'll see that one shortly. The whole gist here is I'm a big fan of doing it and owning the particular campus as opposed to renting space in a campus. And there are a number of really good ones. The popular ones right now, there's one called Circle, which is very popular right now. The other one is School, and there's another one from Go High Level, which is called Colab, I think. but those are hosted services. The one that I'm super excited about right now for people who are teaching something, who are not a company, and I'll explain that in a second, is Fluent Community, which officially launched this morning. So that one is brand new, and that software actually is free to our paid members who are doing the Done For You service. That's part of the suite of products that we provide. But if you're gonna, you have to have hosting and domain in the WordPress space. You need to have a hosting account, and you need to have at least a domain name. And the cool thing is because if you have a WordPress site already, you have a domain name, you can quickly just add your community, your campus, to your existing site. So again, there's whole other issues around whether you do it as mydomainname.com/members, or you have a separate site that is campus.mydomainname.com. A bunch of different strategies there. In my particular case, I've just got it on the exact same domain. So it's one site, one campus, one domain. That's how I ended up to do it. So these kind of 4 pieces I've been touching around with. The platform is the next part. It's like when you're doing this platform, the different kind of platform that you use is really dependent on the business model and the people that you're trying to help. And I have many customers who are, for example, the campus they are creating is not necessarily for end users, but they might be using it internally. So I have some companies, for example, that do certification programs for their resellers and their distributors. Their resellers and distributors have to take a course on their campus. They need to be able to pass it, actually do the work, complete the course before they can become certified. That particular kind of learning campus is one that's best suited where there's things like certification and detailed quizzes and assignments and assessments. So that tends to be a little bit of a more business to business focus. That one that I still use is called BuddyBoss. And again, that's a pretty familiar one in the WordPress space. And again, it's a robust training site with LearnDash as an LMS or learning management software plugin. The WordPress plugin, they combine, put them together. You're in a position where you've got a solid campus with really specific, robust, and education portion to it, along with the ability to interact with an instructor or a moderator. But that one's really structured, right? If you're teaching something that's a certified activity for someone that's learning how to use a piece of equipment or resell a product or service, that's one thing. On the other hand, if you have a community about how to use Ryobi tools or how to do woodworking or something like that, it's more of an ad hoc, more of a personalized kind of learning that isn't about certification. So you don't need something as robust or more, you need something simpler or easier to go with. And that's why Fluent Community, I think, is a very neat sweet spot there. So whether you're using something like BuddyBoss for certification, that fits into your business model. If you're using a robust thing like LearnDash or Lifter or Tutor LMS, which are learning management software for WordPress, those ones are great for complex courses. But on the other hand, Fluent Community, which is the one that I recommend that launches today, that particular one has a great community portion and also has simple courses. And that's the real beauty of it, because we're talking now about, is it a membership site, is it a community, or is it a campus? So it is a membership site, it does have the community features, and it does have the education part built in. It's just a simple education. So if there are any questions, again, please let me know. These ones are, all of these ones, I'm going for 34 minutes now. The thing that I always get a kick out personally is that I get going on these things and there's so much stuff in my head. I want to just get it out. But the point is, I want to make it easy for people who are thinking about this to actually go and put together a campus. So How do you do this? Well, let's go take a look, and I'll actually put one together for you so that you can see how it works. And I'm also going to use something here, another one of the prompts, to really help you out when you're creating these ones. So here's the, let me just do this. I'm going to open it up another screen here. And let me bring up another browser. So I'm going to bring up another browser here, just a window so that you can see it. And it's going to be, make sure my keyboard's working here. Okay, so I'm going to open up another one here. This is one I used with the I did one earlier last week, I think, a start to finish one. I'm just going to show this one to you now because this is the part that, this is the straightforward part. If you've done that little bit of homework beforehand, following the prompts that I did to at least get started, you've got a WordPress site, you've got a hosting set up, what needs to be done at this part? Well, you're just going to have to log into your particular, let me just go, there we go, working on it. We're going to get a site here, we're going to get logged in, and there we go. Let's copy that just in case, and I'm going to access it now. So all I did is I went to tastewp.com. You can build out a WordPress site right away quickly. And we'll just start with the Fluent Community plugin, and that's all you need to do to get started is to add that plugin. And on this one, they try and give you a whole bunch of additional ones to get started, but I'm just going to go to plugins and I'm going to go to add new. And I don't want that one there. I'm just going to do a search for plugin, and I'm going to do, and hopefully it's there since it was launched this morning. Fluent support, there we are, right here. So it says Fluent Community, full-fledged social network, community, and LMS. So I'm just going to install it, and we're going to be all set and installed. This was just added 4 hours ago. There's a free version you can use right off the bat, and then there is a pro version. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to show, I think, everything today with this to get it set up. The one thing that I'm going to show you that's pretty cool, and this is the bane of anyone's existence if they're using WordPress. And one of the things that people struggle with WordPress is logins and usernames and passwords. One of the cool things that they've got set up with this is Fluent has a bunch of other plugins. One of the ones that they have is a free one, is Fluent Authentication. And what that means to you as the training site, the campus owner, is you can actually install that plugin, and it allows for social logins. And if you're not, and also magic logins. And a social login is one where when you go to the website to register, you have the ability to use your Google email address and your Google account as a way to register for the site. So it's not a question then of having to go and figure out, well, what username and password did I use for this one? You know, how did I put this one together? When you use social authentication, in this case, the Google one, it makes things an awful lot easier. The other thing that they do, which is kind of cool as well, is that they have one that is called a magic login. And what that means to you is that you just send an email, not a password. Every time you log in, it's like, send me the link. You give the email address. If you have an account, you get an email right back. You just click it and you're logged in. So you don't necessarily need to have a username and password or keep track of them. Of course, you can still do that, but this is just an opportunity to sidestep that as well. I had another question here. Straining to hear. It's still, I don't know why it's not loud enough. Let me just see if I can do it full up. My apologies. This is frustrating because it's usually pretty good. If I have to, I'll put the other mic on and see if I can get that one going. Now, wireless microphone is there. Movie sound effects. Still, let me know if that's any better. And if not, let me do this. I'll see if I can. Let me see if I can. Maybe I'll change microphones too and put that one on and see what happens. That's disappointing because it says it's on full here, but just use that one and see if we can get it to work a little bit better. And I really like the microphones, actually. They're from Hollyland, and they're ones that kind of just pop on to the side, but I'm just going to turn up here and see if it actually works here. Get it to work a little bit better. Okay, I think hopefully that will help. And if not, please let me know. Got both of them on. Maybe that's a little bit better, hopefully. Give me a thumbs up if it is. Okay, there we go. Change mics. Okay. Yeah, so where were we? The authentication is a bit of a bummer. So they do have Fluent Auth. It's free plugin that's there. And let's go just do the little thing with install it. We'll make sure it's active. That's all I've done is in one single plugin, activate. Technically, I have a campus installed. So if you just want to do basic stuff and have a bit of a walled garden and or a place where people need to log in to access your training and your content, technically that's all that was required, is to just, you know, click activate and get it going and go from there. So let's go and take a look at the site. I clicked activate. We now have it installed, and you can see it just here, third one down. It says Fluent Community and LMS plugin. And again, LMS is learning management software or learning management system. I don't know which one it technically is, but that one's installed and ready to go. And on the left-hand side, you're going to see there's down in the bottom here, there's one called Fluent Community. I'm just going to do a single click on that one, and I'm set up or walking through this particular piece. So I'm just going to call it Campus, and I'm going to say I don't want to. This is what I was talking about. Remember when we had the ability to have where's the member site going to be? Is it going to be on the same domain? In my case, I want my community, my training site, my campus, I want it to be on my website, the one we installed, but I don't want it to be named Portal. So I'm just going to call it for members. And if I have a logo, I can certainly add a logo here. And let me go to another place here. What would be a good one to go to? Let's go to shared drives here. I'm not sure if I have the logo one here. I'm going to pass on the logo, but you just put a logo in, and that I'll show you where those particular ones go. And again, it's pretty nice because they do show all of the different places where you should be, you know, the sizes and that kind of thing. So let me turn that. How's the sound there? I think we're okay. There we go. Let's try what's still going on that one. It looks like the sound is up, so hopefully we're better there. Try one more time. Give me a thumbs up or let me know if that one's working okay. So I'm going to click that next. They do a pretty good job of telling you the dimensions of stuff to put up. And do we want courses in this case? Yeah, I'm going to say course, and I'm going to click next. And who can access your member site or your portal? This one is everyone is public, so that means they don't have to log in or register to see it, but they do have to register to interact with it, or it's only logged in users that get access to it if they visit the site. So if I don't want anyone to see what's inside, I can mark it as, hey, logged in, you got to register before you see anything. If you want people to be able to see it, but not be part of the community or have a membership, then you want to put it to public. And just for this particular case, I'm going to say it's only logged in users. And this one gives the opportunity to install the Fluent CRM and the Fluent SMTP, which is for sending emails. And in our case, I'm not going to do any of this additional stuff, but I'm just going to save and finish. And technically now we have our campus set up so that we're all set and ready to go. And there we go. Pretty straightforward. Now I'm just going to show you something just so that you see it. If this campus is ready for people to see and to log into, what is it they actually see? So I'm going to take the URL of the site. I'm just going to copy that. We'll open up another incognito window. And I'm going to paste it in, and hopefully we'll get to see a site. This is just the sample WordPress site that was installed when we did it. Now, if I want to go see what's happening on the members one, and I just say, you know what? Let's add members here. And it says, oh, there's nothing there. Why? Again, simple little double check. Anything with WordPress, whenever you change anything, go to settings, permalinks, and make sure to save your changes, especially if you've changed it from portal to members. So that one should be okay. Let's go take a look now and make sure we're there. And in this case, let's try it again. There we go. There's our campus. And more importantly, I am on the home page here. I'm not logged in and no post found. Say hello. You're probably going, well, why are these ones that I can see? And that's because even though it's for logged in users by default, I can make parts of it available to people as public and not as private. So by default, it's marked as private, but in this particular case, it is marked as there. So there's my activity. And if I want to log in, there's my login. That's the same thing for the member site. And you can see it's like, hey, you want to be able to log in, it's there. And this works exactly the same with WordPress. So all of the pieces of WordPress are here. If I have my WordPress site set up with no registrations, there's no option to register here. If I have my WordPress site set up for registrations, there is an option to register there. So for all intents and purposes, you have a training site right now, ready to go, but you need some pieces to add. And again, any questions there, we still, is it still kind of on or off? Hopefully it's better. It says on my levels that it's up as high as it goes. So again, I hope that's working out properly for everyone. Yeah, so the other thing is I just want to show you is if your campus is about education and courses, the other thing that's already here is, again, I'm on the admin portion here, Fluent Community, and if you look on the main kind of dashboard for the admin, there's one called Manage Courses, and there we are, and it's put 2 demo courses in for us. And you can add as many courses as you want, and they can be as simple as you want or as complex as you want. Now, when I say complex, I'm talking about the number of sections or segments and lessons. You know, that part isn't as complex as you want. At this point in time, again, it was released this morning. The official version was this morning. You won't have things like quizzes in here yet. I would suspect that will probably be January, February when they announce that. But this isn't meant to be LearnDash. It's meant to be a place where you can have organized information that follows a particular outcome or transformation, the steps people have to take, and you're able to put it in a way that people can consume it. And I do have some additional videos to get in the depth in this. I just want to show you that, hey, in fact, it is there. So we've got some groups and spaces, which are like little communities or faculties that I was talking about. We've got a place for courses. We've got a place for discussions. There's 2 other things that are kind of interesting here that you should know about. The first one is that you have a campus directory of other members. And this means that people who are on campus with you, who are also members of your community and who have access, you'll be able to see who they are. And more importantly, they'll be able to share a little bit about what it is they're about and some of their additional resources. And again, the cool thing is this is exactly the same as Facebook, same idea. If you don't want people to know about you, you can block stuff off so it's hidden as well. If you want to talk about your website, the other stuff that you're doing as a member, or you want your students to be able to do that, you can certainly open things up so that it is available for them. So that's kind of the members. We do have what's called spaces, which are the communities where you can just talk and interact and ask questions. And what I want to do, this is one that I find a lot of trouble with, kind of personally, is this whole space, is that how do you set it up so that it makes sense? I'll just make sure we're in the right spot there. How do you make it so that the community spaces are ones that are appropriate for what it is that you're doing? And if your campus is more about education and accountability, and you are doing group training sessions, the spaces you open up might be more about a particular course or a particular task community that you have to have the students focus on to get them to the goal that they want and the one that you're promising. So you may need to create communities that are task oriented. On the other hand, or campus communities that are task oriented. On the other hand, you might just want places for people to kind of just share what's going on, ask questions about problems or unique situations that they have. So you want open communities that aren't necessarily about a structured live events and learning. It's just a place to hang out. It's like you're hanging out on campus, right? So you can create these groups or spaces on your campus, but it's often hard to try and figure out, which one should I use? How do I name them? And in this one on the left-hand side, you can see there's start here and say hello. So these are just examples of a group or space, and a group is a bunch of spaces. I did cover that in another video that will be up shortly. But this thing it's not about a course or learning something. It's just hey, who are you? What have you been up to? What's your website? What are you working on? What's interesting? What's not interesting? Just stuff about you to share. On the other one, you've got a start here one, and this one might be the administrator saying, here's the goals and purpose and guidelines for this particular training site. It's a spot for you as the site owner to, hey, this is how you get going. These are the links. This is the stuff that we do. Here's where to go for billing. Here's where to go to support, so you can do some guides here. But you may want to add some additional pieces. So the other thing that I did put together, I'll just bring this one up again, is I do have a prompt, just as an example, of one here. And what I was thinking is, if you wanted to try and figure out what it is that you have set up, it's like, how do I organize the communities or the groups or spaces that I have when I'm just starting out? So this is one of the ones, just a little prompt. And again, I'll put this one in. It's just an example, but it's like, help me to organize the types of communities I should create when starting my membership site, learning campus, or community. Focus on identifying the key groups, interests, and goals my audience might have. Include suggestions for social groups, interest-based communities, global-oriented groups if you need to know more. So I'm just going to put this one in and we'll see what it comes up with. We'll open up our handy ChatGPT. And if you're ChatGPT, NotebookLM, Claude.ai, Perplexity, and Napkin are the 5 AI tools that I use all the time. This one is just kind of a default one here on ChatGPT, a paid one. And again, this has no context. This is just me pasting the prompt in. And I'm just going to click go. So I've asked it to help me out. And it's going to say to me, social groups. So we've got new members lounge, over 40 creators, regional or local groups. And I think this one is actually in the memory from ChatGPT. So the stuff that I was doing, and it's got some examples of some of the groups that we can do. So you can run these ones, and it looks like it's doing from these ones here, actual groups. These are ones that I've been working on with clients. So it's kind of interesting that it's picked it up from memory from the other prompts that I'm doing. I didn't think it would do that, but obviously it has. And it just gives you some examples like interest-based communities. So there's the topics of your courses are here. These other ones are just about groupings of people. Here's ones about interest, and then here's one about particular goals. Okay, so you kind of figure out or get some ideas on these, but they have to support the business purpose, the goals and outcomes that you're promising with people. Okay. Any other questions there? There's one, Congo Square. Open campus is what I'm interested in. Okay, that's actually a cool question. I'm going to talk about that because there's some interesting business models around this. When you say open campus, there's, let me just pull this one up actually. I'm just going to pull up a screen. Is it this one? Yeah, I'm just going to pull up the screen here. And I'm going to get my, handy, if you haven't seen, I have a YouTube video called No More Funnel that I did last week. And I'm going to touch just on it now because it fits in with this whole open campus kind of approach. And I'm just going to open this up. I have this is a little just a little iPad here, and I have a tool. This one's called Video Pencil. I'm just going to turn it on here so that we have access to it, and it gets hooked up. And we should be able to see it if I click it on here. Perfect. There we are. Video Pencil's up and running. So let's do this one here. I'm going to do the Video Pencil. So here's kind of where this open campus thing fits in. And if you have a particular open campus kind of market that you're in, don't be afraid to put it in the chat. And I'll address it specifically. But here's where one of the I've seen in the past 2 weeks, I've seen probably 4 or 5 of the old school marketers that were growing up in the digital marketing space when I did in the early 2000s actually switched their entire businesses to this model that you're talking about, this whole open campus thing. So here's where I think where things are going and what's happening. So I personally believe that the whole gist of this, that YouTube is now going to be the absolute foundation of your business. So personally, I'm pumping out stuff as fast as I can on YouTube. And the reason that I'm doing that is because what YouTube is doing, it's all about attracting an audience. So it's not out about advertising or doing social media and trying to get people to like you. It's not about that. It's about building a library of content on YouTube that people are searching for, where they can get that part of that know, like, and trust you, that rapport building part of, getting to do business with people. It's that kind of core foundation. And I think when you're doing an open campus, that whole idea is creating that part of your business that lays the foundation, and the purpose of creating that audience is to get them to become part of your community. And this community, I think, is an open community. So an open campus or open community. And in fact, that's the way I've got mine set up. So we'll see what happens is you can register for the campus only with your email address as your form of payment. So basically, if you're creating that campus, that space for people to share and learn, you've got content from YouTube that you're already creating. You can make sure that it's organized in your campus and supplemented in your campus. And if people want access to some of your courses, some of your information, a little bit of you, you're keeping that as an open campus, and you set your business up so that you basically, you are paying for a person's email address and their name and profile. You're paying for it with your campus, and they're paying for it with their email. So it's a complementary kind of piece there. And that community, you can have part of it open, or you can have part of it as blended, where some parts are paid, some parts are free. And this sort of value chain that works up here is where you start selling, either bigger courses or programs. This is where you start doing things where you're selling introductory products, checklists, coaching programs, cohorts, all of that stuff, so that you get into that spot where you got full-time students or people that'll work and spend money on anything that you do. But this whole idea is starting from an open campus and monetizing your campus and your audience. So the ways that we've been doing it, the way I'm doing it, the way that we've done it successfully with other businesses is that whole idea of having an open campus, having a freemium level where people can go in and get involved and engaged, and then start to guide them towards help with what it is and accountability for what it is that you're promising. And the thing that's interesting with this, and this is why I think it's important looking at this kind of from the big picture and that goal and purpose, is that because of ChatGPT and all of these tools we're looking at, the thing that's happening is that you can create content in a click of a mouse, and the content, for all intents and purposes, is free. What is not free is the connection and the accountability and the customization of the learning experience, and that's where your campus comes in, and setting up your business to support people's questions as they weave through all of this bunch of information. Your ability to simplify it in the campus, I think, is where the real value is. So it's not about the course anymore. It's about you, your expertise, and how you set up your campus to guide people through that particular thing. If you are doing or setting up a campus that is open, one of the things you can do, and let me just open, actually I'll just open one up and I'll show you how I've got one set up here. I'm just going to open one up and I open up, maybe what we'll do is a sip of coffee. I get talking on these so much. I can't, I don't know if you can say you can't stop talking, but I get, you get going on these things. And here's a classic example. If here's an opportunity where you can create a campus community with a mouse click right now. But because there are so many different variations of, if you want to do an open one, if you want to do a closed one, if you want to focus on coaching, or if you want to focus on membership dues or fees, or if you want to have focus on selling products or services to a free community, or you need to pay. There's just so many different ways of doing it, and each person has their unique look at it. The parts that I put in the map, those 10 steps, they're going to happen irrespective of what kind of business that you have, but your choices in all of those can change the way your campus has to work. And that's a real exciting part, is that there's a billion ways to do this. The way that you do it is the one that is unique to you, and that's the thing that you're going to be able to sell. It's not just a campus, it's you and your campus. So I'm just opening up one here, and again, if there are any more questions there, Open Campus. When you create, what would be a good one here? Just trying to think of an easy way to show how this particular works. Let me just do one here. Okay, here's I'm just going to show you the trainingsites.io site right now. This is one we're testing. I don't have a traditional homepage anymore. I packed it in. The only thing that I want people to do is sign up for the open community. And that's the whole gist of this. I have WordPress, I have YouTube tutorials, 300 of them now. I keep on doing ones. They're all bits and pieces of the whole story. It's not the complete story, it's just bits and pieces. Where people can go and find out bits and pieces. But if they need clarification, here's the opportunity to come in and be part of this campus. So they're going to come in and they're going to tour the campus. There's no cost to this. I'm just saying, hey, if you want to come in, you got to go and you got to give me your email address, and you got to create a username and a password here. And my goal or my challenge to people is, hey, if you want to do this, let's get your campus set up. And we go through just the steps like we're doing today. It's like, do you have a goal and purpose? Do you have an idea that you want to start off with? Do you have a hosting account? Okay, get WordPress set up, install your Fluent Community plugin, and then let's get working on it. But getting that campus set up and ready to go is easily done in 24 hours. It's all of the other pieces around it that take some time and some learning. So I'm promising people you can get a campus set up in 24 hours, come in, get started. But if you have questions, you're going to have to try and figure out, what am I going to do to get those questions answered, or who am I going to call? It's like Ghostbusters, right? Who are you going to call? So if I go to the community part, I go to members now, it's going to say, hey, you got to log in before you can get access to it. So that's how I've set up my open community in this particular respect to the main page. It's like, hey, you can't get in if you don't have, you haven't logged in yet. And let me just see on this one. Just open this one up. I have courses that we're starting to put in. And of course, when I go to the courses, it's a closed community. It's like, hey, you got to go check it out. That's the way I have mine set up. You can have it set up so that the courses are available to look at, and they can see a bit of a sales page. And if you want people to go and look at that part, but not be able to take the course, they can register for a course. But this is just an example of one way to set it up. So it's an open community. There's no cost to join other than a name and an email address. And if I didn't want to actually give people or tell people that they had to register, they would go to the site. And if they went to the site and they were just poking around here, let me just do one. I'll go to, I'm going to log in as a different person other than the administrator, so you can see that one. Let me just see if I got a screen here that, just going to see if, I'm just looking for another monitor here so I can, there we go. That's not the one I wanted. Let's try this one, sorry. I think I'm logged in on this one, so. This one, am I logged in? So let's go see community. Hopefully I am. If not, I'll try and log in. There we go. So I'm logged in now in the community. This is an open community. If you don't have it, if you have this, your members page set as open, people, when they go visit the site, this is what they would see. So they're in a position right now where they have access to all of the pieces. However, for example, I have this part up here where I can make a comment. If I'm not registered, I can't make a comment. I can look through it all. I can read through it all, but I can't actually get involved in making comments or suggesting or anything along the lines there. So this is just a way to have open community and ask for an email address to get involved. Or you have a closed community with, or an open community that requires registration. Or you may have a little bit of a different model where you say, hey, you know what, you can't get access to anything until you pay. So again, different kinds of setups for different kind of businesses with different kinds of business models. And this is the way that I've got this set up right now. And again, this is ones that we're kind of playing with. I don't have a perfect answer for ourselves yet. And the reason I don't is because there's a lot of choices and we're testing stuff just like we would test and you would test. Right now, I've got the campus here. We've got say hello, ask questions and share tips, online events that we do, and then share your work. And then we've got workshops. Our paid, in my particular model, the paid part is, hey, you want to take part in a workshop, which is a live session where we actually do the work and go through the work live during the session. We have one for creating courses and content. I have one for doing what we're doing right now. And then I have another one for the marketing lab, which is all about automating social media posts and also doing email automation and all of the stuff that goes around marketing your campus. And then some of the courses, for example, that we're starting to add here. So the course about the map is right now called How to Start, Build, and Grow Your Business. And then you can see we've got the start of a course there and all of the different lessons and stuff that are available. And again, you have to enroll in that course before you get access to it. This one doesn't cost anything. It's an open course, but you have to enroll and say, raise your hand and say, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to take this particular course. Okay. Classes are there, spaces, members, a leaderboard, and then some of our services. So these are just examples of how you can set it up. Again, it depends on your business model and the different pieces that you're doing. But I think Open Campus is probably the way that you're going to see a lot of people doing it. And I think also the whole idea with using YouTube as the foundation of your business and not focusing on social media, but focusing on YouTube, especially people who are in the teaching space, that education space. I'm pretty excited about that because I think that's where it's going. That's where a lot of people that are in my space are directing their clients and customers and the students that they're trying to help, just because it's been really hard to actually get stuff work when you're just selling courses. Now, I don't feel sorry, but it's sometimes hard when, if I go to Facebook, because I'm in the course space, it's like there's all sorts of people pitching and trying to get ads for how to create a course. My personal piece on this is that the whole course area has been kind of swamped with really bad courses that are ChatGPT verbiage, not necessarily the experience of the person giving it. And people have done a really bad job using AI tools to complement their course as opposed to generating their course. So I think there's, if you're thinking about, I'm going to have a campus or a training site and I'm just going to use, courses in it, I don't think that's, it's very difficult unless you're already kind of famous and known for something. And I think you're going to have a lot of trouble if you're just starting at it, unless you get into this campus space and focus on building your audience and not necessarily on selling your courses. Because there's a zillion ways in education business to actually monetize your expertise. It's not just a course. That's just one of a tiny piece of the different ways that you can earn some money from what it is that you already know, love, and do. So again, any questions there? Any other kind of ones that come up? I apologize for the sound. That was I don't know if disheartening's the word there, but sometimes I use Ecamm Live when I'm creating all of these videos. And again, these are live edit videos, put stuff on the go here. I've got my little Elgato Stream Deck Mini there. We kind of, what do we got there? That one here. So if I go and change the screens kind of thing, live edits that we're going and working on. So that's, they're live edits, and normally the mics work fine. It worked fine today. I did a training today, so I don't know what happened. I apologize for that. A lot of moving pieces here. It's all sorts of fun, but again, stuff happens. Again, any questions? No, I will say one thing that I had one call today, and this has to do with this whole campus part and YouTube. I had one customer that I dealt with today, and this is someone who has a very, 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 very successful physical business, and they're trying to move it in, and he's got a ton of expertise in his particular area or topic, and he's trying to move it into the digital space. And one thing that surprised me is this is a mature, for lack of a better word, this is a mature business person. And I said to him, after 25 years in business, I said, so how are you doing on YouTube? And he said, well, I'm not on YouTube. And I was asking, I said, well, what do you mean you're not on YouTube? And he said, I'm afraid to, I don't like being on camera. I don't like doing videos. I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. And the one thing, with YouTube at the foundation that I was talking about, using that little focus at the bottom of attracting an audience. If you think that it's really, really hard to be on YouTube, the one suggestion that I have is to get StreamYard or Riverside FM as a service, or Ecamm if you're a little more technical on your Mac. But I'm suggesting this, that you learn how to do some live edits, just like I was showing you with that, and start recording yourself and see what works for you for what it is you're trying to teach. But just do it over and over and over again with no one watching, and have some fun with it. Because again, the people that win on YouTube or are able to connect and build an audience on YouTube, that's where the real business is going to be coming from in the future. it's kind of great because for me personally, email was the be all and end all when we first started because there was no social media. But if you had a big email list, it's like you had a direct connection to someone's living room and someone's wallet. You could get in front of them whenever you wanted to with an email address. And that kind of went to the side for most people's focus when stuff went to social media and LinkedIn profiles and all the different places that you could go on Facebook and Twitter and all of that stuff. Email kind of went to the wayside. It was always there, but it wasn't the poster child of online digital marketing. And that has always been that constant thread of email. And I think, that's coming back with a resurgence because it's all now about using YouTube and an audience that you build and being able to connect with them on YouTube and supplement those connections or guide them with those connections with email. So I think that's kind of cool because that's where we're going to be going. You're not chasing people all the time. It's like you're attracting people. And YouTube, irrespective of what it is that you're doing, irrespective if you're overly technical or not technical, you're going to have to get comfortable in front of the camera, hearing your own voice, making mistakes, but more importantly, having fun and trying to help people out doing what it is that you're doing. So it's not the mic. It's just, I can't, the sound is okay on my side, so I'm not sure what's going on. I'll do one more time for you. And again, I apologize if it is bugging you guys. What I will do is I do these on a regular basis. If you really get stuck and it's really that bad and you can't hear it, let me know again and I'll do another one of these sessions. And again, I record these and put them into the training site, IO thing, and that's, I don't know, maybe I'll do it another day. If anyone wants to see a secret, I'll show you. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here, I'm going to show you a secret. I'm going to show you how I did it another time, but I want to show you a secret why I think YouTube's so important. One of the things that's kind of come up over the last little while, and you'll see a lot of people, if you're in the, if you go to YouTube and you're poking around on YouTube, you're going to see people who are starting to talk about, let me just do this one here. If I go to YouTube, for example, and I'm going to do, so I'm going to just put blog or something like that. And you're going to be seeing a lot of people still talking a little bit about blogging or starting a blog. Or I'm going to just put, you're going to see a lot of people talking about, is blogging dead? And there's a reason for this, and I think the real interesting thing for us as marketers is I believe that text blogging is dead. I also believe that SEO is kind of a waste of time at this point. And the reason being is that the SEO now is SEO on YouTube. It's not SEO on Google. I can't remember the last time I actually did a Google search. All of the searches that I do are in Perplexity, or now into actually ChatGPT or on YouTube. That's where all the searches are. So it's not about optimizing text and trying to get high ranking and organic traffic through text. It's more about, am I going to be able to answer questions that are ones that are being asked on YouTube? Now, again, just put this in perspective. If you're selling something that's local, that's a physical service or a physical product, take this with a grain of salt. I'm talking about people who are building out an education business. But this whole idea of doing, creating blogs and working and really messing around with creating text and unique content, I don't think it's a worthwhile endeavor when it comes to getting traffic and starting to build your audience. So here's one of the things that I do to get around it, and it's a bit of a cheat, and I'm going to show it to you. Now, every time I do a YouTube video, so for example, let's do one, I'll just do one here. So I have these are free to you. And what I've done is I've got all of the videos I'm doing on YouTube. They're on YouTube and they're there. But what I'm doing is I've taken them and I've actually gone, and in this particular case, I've started to add them to the video library here on the website. Now, there's a couple reasons that I do that. The first one is I just want to have them all organized here in a way that is separate from sending people to YouTube. They're all available here, and you can start, searching by the categories that they are. Is it about a campus tool or content creation, for example? Is it in a series or part of a series, for example? So there's some way to sort and go through them, but here's the real value when it comes to blog posts. I don't have blog posts anymore, I have video posts. And here's the cool thing that happens with it. This is set up now, so the moment that I do a video, and then I have that video transcription that's available directly on YouTube, I put the video from YouTube here. So this is just the YouTube video. And then underneath it, I have key takeaways. So I use ChatGPT to basically create a summary and key takeaways for and from this particular video. So I now have text. It's not a blog post, but it's the too long, didn't read, video too much, didn't watch kind of thing. It's a way to just look and see what the different kind of key points are. And again, you can change the prompt to get different results. I just do summary and key takeaways, and that's right under. So I have this. This one is open, so it's available to the search engines if that is something that you want to keep this part open, but mine is open. So I'm not optimizing it. I'm not worrying about SEO. I'm repurposing content that I already created on YouTube. The other thing that I do is I take, in this case, about video portion here, this about video is the description from the YouTube video. So I copy and paste the description that's here. So I've now got technically a blog post, but really it's just repurposed video that is now into a blog that is SEO optimized with the keywords and all the pieces that were covered in the actual video. And then here's the little secret that we have set up. If you are doing social media, which you still should, but not focus on, again, my opinion, what happens is I have this set up so that the moment that I do a post here, it automatically gets posted to my social media accounts. So I don't have to personally post it. It gets posted automatically for me. All I do is I take the video, put the transcription in that I generated with ChatGPT, add it as a template, and I've now got a blog post, social media post, and my YouTube videos as a tutorial for people on the site. So it's like 4 birds with one stone, and it's just all about creating YouTube videos as fast as you can with as much content as you can that supports the different pieces of what it is that you're trying to teach. So that's kind of a little kind of snippet behind the scenes. The question, one of the one was, what theme did I do with this one? This site is built on Kadence. And what I did with this particular one here, is I used advanced custom fields. And this is the one that if you've been paying attention to the YouTube space, one of the ones that kind of came up, I guess last month, was the guy who owns WordPress.com and started WordPress.org. He got upset at WP Engine, who had a plugin called Advanced Custom Fields, and he was mad at them because they weren't kind of helping out with the WordPress cause or putting enough time, energy, and effort into the open source cause, because they had a fight. So Advanced Custom Fields belongs to WP Engine, and then WordPress said, no, you can't call it open source, and you can't put it in the plugin directory, and they took it over and called it Secure Custom Fields. But this is just a little way to organize or create your own template of information that shows up on a page. So this one is Kadence is the theme. So the general look and feel is Kadence. And then all I did is I built a template with advanced custom fields, and I said, here's in my template, I want you to put the YouTube video here. I want you to put a little text box area where I can put my key points. This is just your regular WordPress post one, and I created some additional kind of parts on the side, created a template in Elementor, and just plug it in. So if I want to go and just do a new tutorial, and again, I have a a little course on this one I haven't published yet, but if I'm going to go do a new tutorial and open it up, this should just give me a quick boo at it. And I'll just be able to plug it in and we're all set there. There's where summary and key takeaways, I just plug in there. The video title directly from YouTube, the ID from the video key from YouTube, what category it's in, how long it is, if it's part of a playlist or a section, when it was recorded, who the author is, and whether it's a free or a paid one. And that's basically all I have to do, plug it in, and it now comes out as that particular piece that you saw. Okay, any other questions there? Yeah, so I'm putting those in as fast as we can with that one. Right now, I think I've got 300 videos on YouTube, so we'll keep on adding them as quickly as possible. And one of the reasons that I did this, here's kind of a, again, I'm rambling here, and hopefully it helps out. But one of the things that is hard when you have a learning management system or a campus is, like, if you're excited by stuff, you create a lot of content. It's that digital exhaust. It's always coming out. And you try and capture it and repurpose it. If you only have a place for courses, there's a ton of content that has value to it that people don't get to see, and it's hard to organize. So that's one of the reasons, first of all, that we changed to Fluent Community, is because it is a lot more simple for the course purpose. But it also allowed me to create this template where it's a library that people can go in and like just take part of a book out, or only read watch a chapter of a big long book. They don't want to go and take a whole course. They want to be able, how do I search on something that has about email marketing or autoresponder series, or how do I post to Facebook, or is SEO important for courses? These are places where you can just search the library and it's going to tell you, hey, here's a particular video on YouTube that answered that question. Here's the key takeaways for it if that's all that you're interested in. Or, hey, here's some additional material or a group of videos that you may want to watch that are in a course. So that's why I did that, trying to keep it simple and just giving people the opportunity to go in and do a search and see what happens with that. So, yeah, so those are the ones that are kind of neat. Again, and those ones, I think there's 40 or 50, and I'm trying to do them as quickly as possible to get them added to here, and we're working on those ones. So any more questions there? I don't know. Okay, so here's my thing for you if you're serious about this. You're going to need a WordPress site. If you have a WordPress site already, just go install Fluent Community. Again, it's just do up Fluent Community in the WordPress plugin repository, install and activate it, go through the steps at the start. Technically, you're going to have a campus. All I'm suggesting is before you do that, you're going to need to go and take a real solid look at, let's do this one here. Just make sure you have a good solid idea on what the topic is. And if you don't know what the topic is, I do have a whole set of prompts and stuff about the 1:15:25 rule that I have. And these are kind of all the steps in this for this one, going through all of these. But this one is an important one, is the topical content map, the 1:15:25. So it's like you want to get one topic, 15 categories, and each category has to have 25 key points or key challenges or answers for you. And kind of pick these ones out and get, what are the questions in the category? What are the keywords that people are searching for? What are the hashtags? But get an idea. So do this bit of homework and figure out, make sure you have a pretty good solid idea on what it is that you want to really help. And when then you want to go and say, okay, I got an idea. I got people that are there. What's the goal here? Do I want to just teach people for free? Do I want people or teach people an outcome, a specific outcome? But what's the purpose of your campus? What is it you want to teach? Why is it important to you? Why is it important to them? And then have some goals, whether they be money goals or just number of students, but have something set up. And then the third piece is pick that profitable business. Like, how am I going to do this so that I can actually create a business from it? And what are the resources that I need to do it? So those red ones are the important ones to start off with. We didn't cover those in depth, but this fourth one here, these two green ones, it's like go install Fluent Community. If you've done that red work, get it set it up to get started, and then, you know, just kind of figure out how do I need to actually do it to support these pieces. And if it's about building social groups, if it's about building interest groups or spaces for people, if it's about course groups or spaces, those are the settings that you can play around with, irrespective of what platform you're doing. If you're using circle.so or some of the hosted ones, they all work basically the same now. Again, I'm a big fan of being in control and having it where I can do it in a flexible way that fits me best. So here's my thing. Do the work in red, get it started, and install Fluent Community and start playing around with it. If you're stuck, visit trainingsites.io, join up. We're working as quickly as we can to get stuff kind of put together and cleaned up a little bit. Just let us know what's going on and what your questions are, and I'll do my best to at least answer them, or more importantly, get you the resources that you need as well. And I'll show you one last thing before I go, because this one is one that might be helpful to you moving forward through all of this, is if you do have questions or you're looking for something in particular, one of the things that I did do yesterday or the day before in a video was on Friday. Maybe it was Sunday I did it. I did do a page called Suggestions, and it's like, hey, if you got suggestions on a video that you want to see, just go and put them in. Any things that you want for a course or stuff you want to see in the training site, just go put it in, and I'll do my best to get that covered, and you can see what's going on. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Back tomorrow, do some more of these sessions. Also, I'll be here on Wednesday afternoon at 1. If you do have stuff that you want to see, again, just put it into the suggestions box here, or put it directly into the community in the questions as well here. Ask questions and share tips, put them in there, and I'll make sure to do my best to help you out with those ones. Okay, so take care, expect the best. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again. Like and subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and I hope you are able to expect the best and get your business working the way that you want. Okay, take care, and that's it.